for anyone listening who has a co-founder or is thinking about getting a co-founder, one of the more interesting conversations is deciding on, who gets to be the CEO, who gets what equity stake and all that kind of stuff. How did you guys navigate that process?
Yeah, so as a bit of context, me and Kieran are really good friends. We've been friends for years. So we first started in SEO together as a junior SEO execs at an agency like 12 years ago. And then we worked together for years and went off different ways and still stay really good friends. Played a lot of golf together. We still hung out. Then we decided to start the business. So just to give you a bit of background, we are friends, but there's quite a funny story. When we, I think it was when we got our first kind of like friends, it was our SEIS investment round and were our first investments. It's a fairly small amount. And we were filling out the forms. It was just the two of us, right, running the business at this point. And then it said, you had to put down your role. And we were like, okay. So the conversation came up that we knew we'd always needed to have for a while, which is what role we both going to take, right? Bear in mind, Kieran is a dev, a typical dev, right? No, he's the he was the technical co-founder. I was the non-technical co-founder. He has more skills than dev. I'm kind of winding him up a little bit there. But yeah, so we decided, right, who's going to be which role? All right, there was two roles up for grabs pretty much. It was a CEO and CTO. I couldn't be CTO. I could only be CEO. But Kieran wanted to be CEO as well. And it got to the day where we had to hand these forms in. And we weren't there in person. We hadn't made this decision. Awkward conversation. We just hadn't had. And we were on the phone. We were like, we have to make a decision. And we were like, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Kieran. I think he said, we just got to do rock, paper, scissors. We have to decide who's CEO. We just got to do rock, paper, scissors. And I was like, that seems fair. That's fair. We were going nowhere in a minute. We need an objective way of doing it that's fair on both sides. But the problem was we were on the phone, right? So we couldn't actually see. It's kind of like, this is like 20 seconds. It was like, no one was really using Zoom back then. We couldn't even do that. I'm sure they were, but we weren't. So we went 1, 2, 3. And then I said my response. He said his response. He won. He said his response split second after mine. I think I said like rock, and he like went paper. And then he won. So he was officially CEO when we raised our first round investment, which kills me to this day. But the world righted itself. Justice was had when we got this most recent investment. And we both came to the conclusion then that we should switch him around. Well, not switch around, but I'll be CEO and he'll be CTO because he's a great CTO. He's great at managing that, and that's exactly where his skills are. And I'm not technical, so I've kind of took on the CEO role.
Fantastic.
There you go. Rock, paper, scissors.
I think some people think it's a lot more scientific than what it ever ends up being. I know there's there was a great. I think the website's still up. I think it's called Splitting the Pie or something. There's Founders. So there's for anyone interested in finding a co-founder and deciding on the equity split to take, there's a questionnaire you fill out, and it will tell so who's going to be writing the blog post, who's going to be the face of the company, who's going to be building the product, and it will assign sort of equity shares and stuff based on that. And so anytime I've mentored entrepreneurs really early on and they're trying to decide on who gets what and who gets what title and stuff like that, that's always a really handy resource. I might stick a link in the description to it. But that's a really good way. And if all else fails, there's rock, paper, scissors, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't add the complication of equity. We were just going to split it.
Yep.
So it was just a badge in a way. God, I can imagine that's quite difficult. So that does sound like a good resource if you try and do that.
How did you get your first 100 customers? So you decided you're going to go into business together. Did you have any customers when you went for the accelerator round, or was that very early on?
Yeah. So we'd started another software before Hike. So we had another software called the Webshed, and that's what we were accepted onto the accelerator with. And that was an SEO platform for SEO experts. So just like all the other platforms out there, we were SEO experts. We'd come from an SEO background. We thought, why not? We want to change a career. Why not do a SaaS thing? Kieran could code, so let's do it. And we built that, and we had about 40 customers. I think after about a year and a bit, we were doing about £500 MRR. Like just nothing. We were working full time and doing this in our spare time. But we got onto the accelerator, which was great. And when we were on the accelerator. People keep coming up to us saying, "Oh, we're founders. We've got a small business. Can we use your software?" And we were like, "No." And they were like, "It's not built for you." And then they were like, "Well, can you do our SEO for us?" And we're like, "No, we've got our own software. We've got our own company to do it." And that's where the genesis of the idea of Hike came from. So when we then decided to pivot, well, it was a 9-month program. We pivoted to Hike. And we were like, right, well, how can we get our first 100 customers? We had about 40 customers on the web chat, but they were the wrong kind of audience for Hike. So we were like, well, what can we do that's a little bit different? What can we do also that validates the idea of Hike, right? So I think what we did was like, we put up, there's 2 parts to this story. I'll tell you how we got the first 100 customers, and I'll tell you how we got the first 5,000 customers, because they all happened quite quickly. So the first 100 customers, we put up like a landing page, right? We put it up on beta list. I don't know if beta list is still going. We put it up on beta list, and we said, just a landing page. We're building this. It's going to launch soon. We haven't built anything. We haven't done anything. Building this, going to launch soon. Put your email here. And we had like hundreds of people like that registered. We're like, oh God, that's pretty good. And then we were like, through the accelerator we were on, we sent out emails to loads of different accelerators, and they shared it. And we had like, I don't know, a few hundred people that had signed up for early access to this before we'd even built it. So then we were like, okay, this validates the idea. That's pretty cool. So then we built it. Then we launched it, and we converted a bunch of them. It was I think we sold it for like £12 a year for the first few customers, like £1 a month, just to see, right?
Yeah.
So we got that, and for the first, like, they were all the people that signed up. All the people that signed up via the landing page got it for like super cheap. And then we're like, right, now let's try and get proper customers, like other people do. Then, so that got us about, I don't know, maybe 50 odd customers. And we were like, wow, we've got more customers than we had on our old software that took us years to get. Then we got an email. So we launched in September. In October, we got an email from AppSumo. I won't explain AppSumo. I'm sure everyone here knows who AppSumo are. We got an email saying, hey guys, we've been recommended you. We want to feature you in AppSumo. And we were a bit like, who's AppSumo? We've never even really heard of it. And then we looked into it and we're like, oh, this is pretty cool, right? Like, maybe they've got like, I don't know, a few thousand people on their email subscriber list. Then I put a post out on SaaS Growth Hacks, the Facebook group. And and then people started responding saying, yeah, we were on it. We got thousands of customers. We were on it. We got 10,000 customers. We were like, yeah, that's ridiculous. So we went on there and we were live for 2 weeks, happened to be over Black Friday, just lucky. And 5,000 people purchased Hike.
Wow.
They pay like a one-time deal, a one-time payment, right? But it was 5,000 people, and 3,500 of them registered an account. So 1,500 we didn't use any data, didn't even sign up. Of those 3,500, only about 1,500 used it more than once. I don't know if that's a sign of the type of person that does AppSumo or the quality of Hike back in the day. Like, I don't know what caused that, but so basically with 5,000 signups, and we got a little bit of money from each, right? For 1,500 users using the platform. But that was a baptism of fire, man. That was a real baptism of fire. Kieran had built a platform that was currently hosting 50 odd customers, and now it had to host, words, 1,500 customers, potentially, 3,500, right? Because they used it once. I was managing live chat, thinking, we just got UK customers. Now we've got customers in every single country and every time. So finding every single bug possibly on Hike. So I was managing live chat for like 24 hours a day, like for weeks and weeks and weeks. So yeah, but all it did, I guess, in hindsight, it was great really, because it gave us revenue and it gave us a bit of product market fit to then go and get a little bit more investment that following January. So that's the long story of how we got our first 100/5,000 customers.